Hey everybody, today I think I'm going to take you through the 85 and 86 350X and talk about what the differences are and what's obvious and what isn't obvious, and maybe help you learn a little bit about these two and what makes them different. Maybe we'll pan the rest of the horde while we do it. So the 350X, the ATC 350X, is a 2-year only machine. Honda made these from 85 to 86. There were plans for an 87 model, but that never came to fruition. The consent decree came into effect, and the 87s, though they might appear in a picture, there is no production models out there. And I say that with some confidence because the people I know and the groups that I'm in, I really think that if there was one that made it out into circulation, there'd be some pictures of it, and there is not. So if you'd like to think that, that's cool, you can do that, but I really don't think they exist. I'm not operating with a lot of room today. Kind of in a position where everything's crammed in and the weather isn't such where I can spread out just yet. So not going to be getting these out as much as I'd like, but we're going to talk about what makes the 86 different from the 85 and vice versa. Obviously, the first difference is one is red and one is white. 85s were red and the 86s were white. Some other cosmetics that you'll notice quite easily is the seat. In 86 they said ATC, in 85 they said 350X, and that is similar to what the 250Rs did at the time, and as well as 200Xs. I think that might be it, but in line with the seat is the wings on the tank. You'll notice 86 has what you've come to know and love, the red, white, and blue Honda wing, and even though 85 is red, white, and blue, you'll notice the font is red. The coloration is different itself, and actually the tank is a different color. Shasta white versus, geez, I'm at a loss for words. I can't remember cream white, what the 85 tank color is, but it's a darker white. My 85 has been restored, so I'll start out by pointing out what is not correct on my 85. The front brake line is not a factory brake line. My 86 has a factory brake line. Same thing on 250Rs. It's got that big clumpy rubber end and that shield that goes down. You'll notice my 85 doesn't have that. I have a reproduction. A gentleman named Mike Pomgren makes terrific, very factory looking reproductions. Vintage Motorsports out in Massachusetts. Give Mike a call or find him on Facebook or Instagram or his website to get one of those ordered. I know I'll be doing that for this machine. You'll notice my seat is very crisp. It's got a hard edge there compared to more of the softer lines of the 86. 86 is an original OEM seat. The 85 is a recovered and new foam seat by a woman named Tammy Mosier at Cosmetic Quads. Tammy makes great products. She is probably your best bet to have as close to OEM seat covers as it gets. So I love that seat. It is crisp. It is not OEM. I have another machine that has a really nice OEM seat on it. I might actually swap it out for the one that's on this. This is my Rider 350X. You'll notice that seat. You can see the difference. That's an OEM seat. I'll be swapping that out. And actually, when I ride this, I do not ride with those fenders on. I have a set of Rider quality fenders. That is an aftermarket seat cover that I put on myself. I really didn't take my time to do it. I just kind of got it done and threw it on. So don't criticize me too bad. But these are some OEM 86 fenders with no mud flap. They're kind of disformed, but for out riding, I feel fine riding with those on. I wouldn't break my heart if something happened to them. I don't want that to happen, obviously, but that's the differences in the seats. If you've watched my comparison video on the 3rd gen 250Rs, the 85, 86s, the next couple of differences I'm going to point out are common with those also. So the top triple on an 86 is black. On an 85 it is aluminum, and that's the same on 250Rs. The headlight controls and the run switch on an 86 looks like this. That's the same layout and design as the 86 250R. The 85 350X does not look like that. That is either a reproduction or new old stock, I don't know which, but that is the wrong headlight control on-off run switch for this machine. Let me show you what the right one should look like. Here's my rider. That is what an 85 switch should look like. The front brake calipers and rotors are different, 85 to 86. If you look at the 85, notice the inner ring of the rotor has circle cuts made into it, where on the 86, it's like a spiral venting. And the caliper has kind of a vented look on the 85. On the 86, it's more plain, but it's a different size too. On the 86, you can take that caliper off without removing or loosening the front rim and tire. But you're not going to be able to take the 85 rotor off without at least taking the weight off the front end and loosening the lugs to get yourself some clearance to pull that caliper off the rotor. On the 85, down there on the lower triple where the steering stops are, you can see the frame stop and the stops for the triple. On the 86, they put little threaded holes in those steering stops on the triple and made that little cover. And actually, if you need that cover or a brand new chrome emblem there for the front of your lower triple, Mike Palmgren makes those too. Reproduction, they look 100% identical to what Honda put on there, and they are a great piece to complete a restoration. Or if yours, the chrome has a tendency to peel off, so if yours is doing that and it doesn't look that great, hit up Mike Palmgren at Vintage Motorsports, and he's got them for you. Very reasonably priced. Most 350X emblems look like that. You might know 350Xs, but maybe you didn't know this. The sticker on the mud flap for an 85, the ATC is more of a straight up and down sort of font. On the 86, it's leaned forward and has the line through it. The toolbox on an 86 is different than the toolbox on an 85. That's the same design toolbox as the 250R. It's extended out to allow for the spanner wrench that they put in there to have the proper clearance. They redesigned it so it didn't need that extra bump out in 86. The grab bar on the 86 has that slot right there. The grab bar on the 85 has no slot. The grab bar on the 85, that connection point is hollow with a rubber grommet that slides over a nub on the frame. For 86, they made the grab bar to have a spacer for the correct mounting distance for the exhaust. So these are original tires. They're probably past 50% of their life. It's better to have, in my opinion, original tires like this than aftermarket. So I'm gonna be happy those are there, but I do have a set of nice new old stock tires that I will be mounting up. If not on these rims, then maybe a nice set that I have. These are pretty close to new old stock tires. You know, they still got the fuzz on them. But these rims, these are not correct. I don't know what the date code is on these, but I'm guessing these are newer 250EX rims. They've got the rolled rim, the rolled lip rather. Shouldn't be like that. I'll check out my other machine and I'll show you the difference. But these are PV Pro Vector 701s. That is the correct tire. PV 701. So in 1985, your 85 350X would have come with Pro Vector tires. That was later shortened to PV, made by Atsu. So that's the way to tell if it's got the original rubber or not. These are new old stock. As I said, this was restored. So it is beautiful. It is very, very clean. It was on display in a dealership, a Honda dealership in New York for a while before a buddy of mine bought it from that dealership, and then I got it from him. The 86 350X rims had that cast aluminum center. Really cool looking. The only Honda that had that. It was a 1 year only thing for them. I think it's super neat. Yeah, like if it was up to me, I'd put those on many machines I have, but I don't have a lot of them. So you see it's on the front also. Very cool design. These are PV 101s for the front. I know I mentioned my front tire is probably about 50% life. The rim looks great, but what better thing to do than to just take a takeoff front wheel and tire and throw it on. So that'll replace this along with the new old stock tires that I'm going to put on the back end. It's really going to make this machine pop. Back to the old trusty rider here. So this has an original front tire on it. Again, about 50% tread life, maybe a touch more. But if we look, it's upside down, but that is a Pro Vector tire. Behind the fork, 101. I don't know everything. You might have bought a brand new 85 with PV tires on it, but what I've been told is 85s came with Pro Vector, so it is completely possible that that is the original tire. This is what the rims on 85s should look like. They are the same rims as a 86 200X. 87 200Xs have a different design. They have a rolled rim where this is the edge of the aluminum. These tires are similar in design to the PV 701. These are PV 702s. These came on 250Xs, 250EXs. They're no longer available, so supplies are running out. People have them hoarded away. They're about the closest thing in appearance that you're going to find to PV 701s. I ride this machine. I don't really feel bad. I've got some other ones tucked away for a rainy day, but these are the incorrect tire for this machine if we're being pure and trying to have it be the most OEM machine that we can make it. The hub color on an 86 is black. On an 85, if I can pan over there, is kind of that argent silver, a dark silver color. On the 86, they had those little brackets on 2 out of 4 of the hub ends. I don't know why. Maybe one of you guys can tell me why they did that. Educate me, please. Thank you. One of the Honda line options you could get on an 85 or 86 350X was a headlight guard. My 85 is naked. My 86 has the chrome headlight guard. The grill for the chrome headlight guard, if you got the grill, was welded right in. They also sold these without the grill. They also sold red ones. This is a 2-piece red one. You can see they had a little grill that gets screwed into the back. I recently acquired this, had it powder coated, and I will put it on this 85. And I'm excited about that. Okay, so now let's talk about some changes that aren't obvious. The shrouds. Did you know that the shrouds are different from 85 to 86? You'll notice that leading edge of the front tank shroud is angled forward. But the problem is, it interfered with the headlight rubber. So in 86, they shortened it up. You'll notice that top leg is a lot shorter than on the 85. And that cured the interference with that tank rubber, or I'm sorry, with the headlight rubber. The 85 motor mounts are different than the 86. The 86 has a thicker bolt that goes through those holes to give it a better mounting in the frame, we'll say that. Also, the chain, the front sprocket cover on an 85 looks like that. It's got that back piece that kind of fills in that gap. On the 86, they made it all one piece and gave it those vents. If you look on the 86, you can see the clutch cable comes down and goes behind the jug, crosses over the motor to the activation lever, and that's how they ran it in 86. In 85, it's on the other side. Let me show you. In 85, it comes down, you see, goes behind the header, the activation lever down there. Similar to the 250Rs, the brake caliper stay on the 85 has a linkage down to a threaded stud on the swing arm. Kind of an overly complicated design, which they fixed in 86, where there's a nub, and the caliper mounting plate has a slot that fits over that nub with a collar that keeps the caliper in place. Inside the engine of the 85 and 86 350Xs, they made a change. In 86, they moved the oil pickup to the rear of the motor. So if you were doing wheelies for extended periods of time or going uphill, you wouldn't run your top end dry. And I don't know if there was a mass issue with that, but they made that change from 85 to 86 and corrected maybe potential problems down the road. I've heard that there's a different number of ribs in the fork boots from 85 to 86. I just counted all of mine. I'm out of breath from counting. That's terrible. But each of mine have 30, so I thought if any of them, this would be the original one, but maybe this had replacements put on at some point. If you've bought enough 85 350Xs, you'll know that this is where they are prone to cracking on the frame, right there, that down tube, right in back and above the front sprocket. I believe in 86 they switched to a less mild steel, a stronger steel, and that issue doesn't really exist on the 86. I've never, to my knowledge, bought one that had that issue. Also, they crack here in front of these big rubber grommets. There's a number of gusset kits that are out there that are available. I'd be remiss if I didn't do a name drop for my buddy Greg Jr. at JR Trike Sports. He makes a great gusset kit. Brad Rye makes a great gusset kit. They're both my friends, so I'm both going to mention them. This is subtle. 86 has the gold knob on the shock reservoir adjustment. That's the same as a 250R. You'll notice the clamps that go around, the rubber goes all the way around the reservoir. On the 85, it's a black knob, and those clamps go right down onto the metal of the reservoir, except for some semicircular rubber insulators that are underneath it. I can't get it from this angle. They upgraded the carburetor from 85 to 86, so the 86 starts a little bit easier. Okay, the axle carrier on an 85 is different than an 86. You notice the adjustment there on the left-hand side has those notches, so that's the same as an 85 250R as well in design. It's a little bit smaller diameter, and the sprockets that the 85 takes just has a through hole. But on 86, they made a little bit bigger carrier, if I could get it in the picture here. And the adjustment is thicker. And when they thicken that adjustment, that's how it is on an 86 250R as well. When they thicken that, they ran into interference issues with the bolts that mount the sprocket. So they used a machined head, a tapered bolt that fits down in the sprocket to give the clearance that it needs to go round and round, and that's another pretty significant difference. You'll notice on the rear fenders there's a warning. Important information. Model ATC 350X gave some tire pressure capacity. On the other side, I believe it tells you how to adjust the chain. My 85 is missing those decals. They should be there. There's no question that 85s came with those decals, so that's missing. 86s, however, some come with them, some don't. That's what I'm coming to find out. The one I bought in 1996 did not have those stickers. This one does, and I bought other ones that didn't have it, so I don't know if it's true or not that they're supposed to have them or came with them, or somebody peeled them off right out of the dealership. I can't imagine why you do that, but some people do that. They're missing on my rider too. Just like on the 250Rs, the 85 plastic that came factory on your 350X didn't have any warnings. It was just kind of a smooth all the way around. There's probably a sticker, I think, that's probably missing for mine, but there was no embossed warnings. Unlike the 86, which had the embossed warning there. It's hard to see because it's white. And also this embossed warning. Operators only, no passengers. I know none of you people rode 2 up on your 3-wheeler, so we're speaking to the choir here, but I have seen, never in person, but I've seen red 85 fenders with those embossed warnings, which I gotta believe are replacement, OEM replacement. I've got a buddy, Travis, who has an awesome YouTube channel, DNA Restorations. He's down in Louisiana. He was surprised that they didn't have the warning, so I don't know if it was a north versus south type situation, but maybe one factory made them one way, one factory made them another way. Not quite sure. The skid plate on the 85 is different than the 86. On the 86, it didn't exist. Just kidding. I have one for this, I just don't have it on it. It's just a difference in the holes. Functionally, I'm sure they're very comparable, but there is a slight difference visually in how they look. I'm sure they must have changed it to strengthen it, but they are different, and they do exist on the 86. Mine just doesn't have it. All right, everybody, that's the differences between the 85 and the 86 350X, or at least that's what I think I know about the differences. So hopefully that was informative for you. If you enjoyed that and you got anything out of it, please give my video a like and subscribe to my channel if this information is something that you'd like to be updated on a regular basis. I do my best to put out what I know, or at least what I think I know. And if I missed anything, post it down in the comments. I want to learn. I'm sure I missed something. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would like to know things too, so they can see what I missed in the comments. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video at some point in the future. But hey, I thank you for joining me, and have a great day, great evening, and that's all for me. Over and out.